What's up, Internet? So I'm reading this article on RacerX. I only discovered the article a couple weeks ago. I missed it. It's an older article. It's about 2.5 months old. It came out at like the end of August, somewhere near the end of the outdoor season, and it's with Cooper Webb. It's called Cooper Comes Clean. So you can go search for that and read it yourself. But what stuck out to me, like a big sore thumb, was the fact that he was talking about changing his training program. So at some point after Redbud's like July 4th weekend. Outdoors starts like in the middle of May, somewhere around there. So, it's kind of in the middle of the season. So in the middle of the outdoor season, he's like, I got to change it up. He actually says in here that he talks about, I'm only 25 years old and having thoughts of retirement is crazy. The grind had got him to a place where he's actually contemplating retirement. It's the middle of the outdoor season. I don't know. I feel like we've heard this story so many times. It's becoming an epidemic in the motocross, supercross community. I think we should give it a name. We'll call it Baker syndrome. Keep it simple. Baker syndrome. Too many guys are getting Baker syndrome and thinking about retiring, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years before they really should be. I mean, like 30 is not that old. So let's go all the way back to the year 2000. Ricky Carmichael moves up from the 125 to the 250 class because they were all still on two strokes in 2000. And he hires Aldon Baker. Nobody knew who Aldon Baker was. I mean, really not like today. Everybody knows his name now. But I mean, back then, probably only people in the industry knew who he was. Ricky Carmichael hires Aldon Baker. And the rest is history. From 2000 2006, he was the most dominant rider ever. He's called a GOAT for, a reason. He won every championship that he competed in from 2000 2006. Then he starts training James Stewart. James Stewart trained, I think, with Aldon Baker like 2008 to 2010. So he talks about the grind. He talks about how he wanted to retire and he couldn't do it anymore, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think for people that are like a machine, like Ricky Carmichael is a machine, and if you're willing to commit mind, body, and soul to that Baker's program, it's going to elevate you. Obviously, I mean, we could talk about it all night long. There's so many dudes that have gone into that program and come out champions, and they're legends, and they're in the record books. And so look, the Baker program works. It obviously does work, but is it really good for the sport for these dudes to be training like that? Whatever that is, I don't know what the training program is, but clearly it's a grind unlike probably anything else, because these dudes are coming out and retiring at 25 years old, or thinking about retiring at 25 years old. And that's insane. Ricky Carmichael, I think, probably went through the Baker's program the longest, like 6 years. Like 6 years he did that grind. That dude was a goddamn machine. James Stewart did it for like 2.5 or 3 years, something like that. Ryan Villopoto, 4 or 5 years. Internal temp, high, allow it to cool. My camera just went off. God, fucking. Okay, I'm back with a cheaper, lower resolution camera that isn't going to look as good, but it's not going to overheat on me. All right, so here's where it also kind of gets interesting. In 2016, Aldon Baker gets a 5-year contract to exclusively train KTM and Husqvarna, because Husqvarna is just the white KTM. Train the KTM riders, right? And so at that point, it was like Ryan Dungey, Marvin Musquin, Jason Anderson, Zach Osborne. Guys, all of those names, with the exception of Marvin Musquin, are all championship winners in both lights and the big bike class, right? He also trained Adamson Cirillo. Cooper Webb then joined the team, I think, in 2019. So he's getting trained by Aldon Baker. And that's another thing, right? He didn't start training with Aldon Baker until 2019, right? So he's like 3 years into that program. He's like, 3 years into the program. He's won 2 Supercross championships. Hasn't been great in motocross, but not bad, not horrible. And 3 years in the Baker's program, he's like, dude, I'm ready to retire. All right. But so 2016, he gets his 5-year contract with KTM Husqvarna. And oh, by the way, it's 2021. That contract expired this year. And I think it's interesting, like, people have scattered from the Baker's factory like cockroaches when you turn the light on in a room. Like, oh, the contract's over. I don't have to do this shit no more. Bye. So Cooper Webb's left. Marvin Musquin's not training with Aldon Baker. Obviously, Zach Osborne retired, announced his retirement early this year. I mean, who's he training now? You know, Aaron Plessinger and Mookie, Malcolm Stewart, and I'm really excited to see Malcolm Stewart race this year on the white KTM, train with Aldon. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how he does overall, but I'm also excited to see if he can be the first guy to consistently make the KTM work well in the whoops, because he's an awesome whoops rider. All right, kind of digressing again. Let me get back on track. So 2016 to 2021, every title won was won by a Baker's Factory rider, except for 2020 when Eli Tomac won, which kind of begs the question, like, what's the magic? Like, I feel like Eli Tomac is one of those guys who's found the correct balance between training and being an athlete and not burning out. I don't know how old Eli is. He's got to be about the same age as Ricky Carmichael when he retired, and I think he's still got a couple more really good years. I think this is going to be a good year for him with all the changes. He's probably pumped and excited, and you know, if he does really good this year, that momentum will carry into another year, and then maybe he'll retire then. But I think he's got to be 27, 28. I'll look it up. But my point is, dude's coming out of the Baker's program. They're thinking about retirement at 25, and here's, you know, a guy like Eli Tomac, who's clearly one of the fittest dudes, if not the fittest dude. Never trained in the Baker's program. He did train with Rhino Power early in his career when he was on 250s, I think, with Honda. But whatever he has figured out, it works. And I would argue it's a better system. Whatever balance Eli has found is way better than going into the Baker's program. Because unless you have the mindset of a Ricky Carmichael, if you're the kind of person that needs to have some fun, then you know, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable. That's what this is telling me. People leaving this program, coming out of the program, ready to retire. Clearly, that program is not sustainable unless you're just a freak of nature in the head like Ricky Carmichael was. And so I don't think it's good for the sport. That's the point of the video that I'm making, is we've gotten to a place now where it's gotten so competitive, and they're trying to win at a cost that, in my opinion, maybe is a little bit too high. I think that's why guys like Jason Anderson are like, dude, you know, maybe I could win more championships, but I wouldn't be happy, right? Like, if you're not happy, then what's the point? If you don't love what you're doing, then what's the point? And so I think I kind of side with, you know, Jason Anderson and Cooper Webb for leaving the program. And, you know, I think Marvin's in a little bit of a different situation, because I think he's retiring. He's got a 1-year Supercross only deal with KTM. And I think he's going to ride off into the sunset after this year, and that's going to be it. Zach Osborne, you know, he just couldn't deal with the back injury anymore, so he had to hang that up. But he's had a lot of success in lights, and he won the outdoor championship last year on the Husqvarna, the white KTM. So that's my point. You know, let me know what you guys think. I tend to feel like if you're not happy, then why are you doing it? Go be happy. And if that means that, you know, you're not going to be the crazy Baker syndrome machine winning whatever, so be it. At least you're happy. At least you wake up and you like your job. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But I just think it's bad for the sport. I don't want to see Cooper Webb retire at 25. I'm glad he left the program, regardless of what results may come this next season, this coming season. It's like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. I'm excited. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm out. Said enough. Gone. See ya. Bye. Keep your upside down. We'll see you in the next video.